That was rough. Timbers lose 3-0 to Toronto FC, the 14th place team in the Eastern Conference coming into the match. And they only won one game at home the entire year. And the Timbers, I'll give them the first half. They've had poor first halves this season, but it continued into the second half. And Phil Neville said it himself. That was the worst performance over the last 2 years.
One of the worst performances of my managerial career. The poorest from this team since I came to this football club, and we have to get back to work as quick as possible. I expected there to be a little bit of a rusty start, but I couldn't imagine that performance.
I made a big fuss about Toronto's ability in the attack on Thursday's episode of the Timber Review, and also on the Portland Timbers pregame show today. They had the lowest XG in MLS. They averaged the fewest shots on goal per game, but anytime you or I could be in net for Toronto and still get a clean sheet victory, that's not a good marker. 0 shots on goal in a system where you had Kevin Kelsey and Felipe Mora on the pitch. I don't even blame those two that much. They weren't getting service, but at the same time, Felipe Mora is now on a 9-game scoreless run.
It was difficult for us to create opportunities, even though we play with 2 forwards. I think today our big mistake was in the middle, try to play the ball. I think we lost too many balls in that area of the field, and they gave Toronto the opportunity to take a couple counterattack.
Here's what Phil Neville said on Friday's press conference when talking about changing formation and the Portland Timbers system.
People talk too much about systems. Probably is that we have a game model, where we want to overload in certain areas, and it doesn't matter what system we play in. The way that we play 3-4-3 is no different than the way we play 4-2-3-1. It's within football nowadays, within games, teams are playing different systems. I actually don't think there are many systems in football anymore. There's just interchanging adaptations of systems against each opposition that you play. So, and the thing is that we have also got 2 centre forwards.
So he did change formation in this game, and I thought it affected it. The Timbers' passing lanes were different. There was less options, and they were outnumbered in midfield at all times against Toronto. David Ashala was getting shadowed by Matthew Longstaff for chunks of that game, and Diego Chara's passing wasn't very good either, and neither of the strikers, Kevin Kelsey or Felipe Mora, dipped down into midfield to try to circumvent that midfield overload that Toronto had.
From the first minute to the last minute, I thought it was totally unacceptable. I thought it was men versus boys. I thought we were... the qualities that we showed in the first half of the season weren't there, and I think that was a massive kick up the backside.
It was known on the broadcast that Santi Moreno did not start this game because he came late from Colombia after the 1 week off. He was at training on Tuesday, so I don't think he was absorbently late, but clearly he was getting reprimanded by Phil Neville and the coaching staff. And Omir Fernandez, unfortunately in the spot on the right wing, did not play very well. He gave up the foul, which ended up being the first goal for Toronto, and his ball progression and dribbling ability wasn't really on display either. Thankfully, he will likely be okay with an ankle injury. The Timbers will need him going forward.
It's his ankle, I think, at this moment in time. Obviously, it's soon. We don't think it's bad.
There really isn't much more that can be said from this game. As I try to analyze it, what's the good? I guess Gage Guetta making his MLS debut was a positive, and it's almost a negative for him how this game went, though, because I don't think the 4-4-2 experiment, or at least playing Kevin Kelsey and Felipe Mora together, will continue. And Gage Guetta, I guess he's capable as a left winger. He is more of a striker. That is where he wants to play, and unfortunately, he will get less reps if the Timbers go back to the 4-2-3-1 formation. Final note for me on this one, Jimmer Forey will be suspended for the next game, and I don't think Claudio Bravo is a Portland Timber for very much longer, so it will likely be Ian Smith getting the start, something he hasn't done in a while, and Sawyer Jura, a 19-year-old fullback who was with the team in Toronto, at least according to his Instagram page, will likely be backup in that game, so we could see Chara get his first minutes of the 2025 season against a New England team that is picking it up as recent. It'll be fun to see Caleb Porter and Alija Ivičić back at Providence Park. Your thoughts on what has been a pretty drab game